Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. This is Chef Candice, and I'm back with another banger, a banger. And this is my mother's recipe for glazed candied yams. This is a soul food essential, y'all. And I grew up on this recipe, so I'm not gatekeeping because y'all need to be blessed with this too. I'm not going to overtalk it. It's speaking for itself, so let's get right into it. Okay, so here are our ingredients. I have about 5 potatoes that are even in size. I usually do about 4 large sweet potatoes that are even in size. And for this video, this is what I could find. The main thing is just between 4 to 6 potatoes that are the same size. You don't want all those wacky looking shapes. And even though we're boiling it, I still wanted to scrub my potatoes really well, or at least give them a good rinse to get all the dirt and like the nastiness from it being in the grocery store off of it, and like, you know, potatoes go on the ground, so they're pretty dirty. Just want to get them nice and clean before we start boiling it so it doesn't infuse with dirt. Then I have a stick of butter. It's divided. We're gonna use a stick of butter, or maybe more, I don't know. But I got my butter that's right here. Salted or unsalted is up to you. It really doesn't matter. And that is softened, even though we're going to melt this later. Then I have my spices, cinnamon, which is the big portion right there. I have some nutmeg, and I also have ginger, and it's just like a little pinch. You don't have to use this. You can actually just use this instead, which is my seasoning lime, which has a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg. It also has like some cloves along with some ginger, and it also has brown sugar, cane sugar, and a few other things that I can't say because y'all don't need to be duplicating the recipe. But this is available for pre-order on my website. This goes great on desserts. It goes great in sweet potato type dishes, pumpkin dishes, any dessert that you can think of, it goes great on it. I even used it on a honey glazed ham that I'll be showing you guys that I'm making later this week. But yes, this is a versatile seasoning. It's called Honey Bun Spice Blend. It's a spice blend, not a seasoning, but it's a Honey Bun Spice Blend. If you love sweets, if you love things like French toast, sweet potatoes, pastries, please go pre-order this on my site. This is a 16-ounce size, and it is available for purchase for $9.99 for 16 ounces. So it's pretty big. I'll give y'all a bigger image of it, as you can see. This is really big. I package it myself in Atlanta, Georgia, and I just, you know, put my heart and soul into it. So yes, get this for the holiday season. You need it. Like I said, you can use ground cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and a little bit of sea salt. And then we'll also go in with some pure cane sugar. I did about 3/4 of a cup of this. And then I have a cup of brown sugar. And just a disclaimer, yams and sweet potatoes are not the same thing, okay? I know it got a little bit mixed up in the African diaspora. We could discuss that in another video, or if I have a little sabbatical in this video. But yeah, yams and sweet potatoes, I know people in the comments do the most, but this is a video on how to make glazed candied yams, because that is what we call it in the southern comfort food world, I guess you could say. In the soul food world, we call it candied yams. I ain't saying no goddamn, excuse me, I'm not saying no glazed sweet potatoes. This is candied yams, even though we know that it is a sweet potato and it is not to be confused with a yam. Big difference. So yeah. For this recipe, which is my mother's recipe that I grew up on, we are going to boil our potatoes. Anytime you're doing a recipe where you're boiling potatoes to fully cook them, or partially, whatever you need to do, always start them off in cold water. Why? Because cold water is better than putting them in already boiling water, because it's going to cook them more evenly. Simple as that. So always start your potatoes off in cold water. Also, I forgot to mention that we'll be using vanilla bean paste. You don't have to use this. You can use vanilla extract, because baby, I used both, okay? I used vanilla bean paste, and let me show you the vanilla extract that I used. This is the, oh, it's a little beat up, but this is the vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract. And since we're baking it, I do recommend using imitation vanilla extract, since it tends to taste better when you're baking it at a high temperature. But of course, use what you have on hand. Okay, so boiling. We're gonna let this boil for about 15 minutes, y'all. So there are different ways to get the potatoes soft. If you'd rather bake them in the oven in some foil like that, or you would rather just peel them and then boil it, or peel them and toss it in the candied yam coating, it's up to you. However, like I said, I typically do mine on a stovetop, but for this video, I wanted to just boil them like my mother did. So if you guys want to see a different method for candied yams, just let me know. But however, this one is a little bit more simple. It's a little easier, and we're just boiling them until a knife goes all the way through. Since we are putting them in the oven, you don't have to boil them until they're like completely soft. You could just boil it until it's almost all the way cooked, because it will continue to cook in the oven. So just keep that in mind. But if you're like me and you want them to be done as soon as they come out in less time, boil them completely, peel them and slice them, and then we'll just bake it for like 15 minutes. The more undone the potato is, the longer it's gonna take to cook in the oven. Hopefully that makes sense. So, okay, cool. The potatoes are boiled or steamed or whatever the heck you decide to do with your potatoes. So all we're gonna do is begin to peel them. So let them cool down for a little bit and carefully remove the peel. The longer you allow these to cool down, the easier and faster it'll be to remove the skin. So I'm only peeling it in the same bowl for the sake of this clip, but of course discard them and throw them away, and then we'll go ahead and proceed to cut our potatoes. So yeah, I typically do mine on the stove. Like I said, I like to candy mine. Candied yams are not candied yams if you don't candy them on the stove, but we're gonna go ahead and do it this way. Now this part is personal preference. Do you want to cut them in little cylinders or not cylinders? Do you want to cut them in little circles? Do you want to cut them in wedges, rectangles, quarters, crescents? I don't know, whatever type of shape you can think of, an octagon, whatever you guys like to cut your potatoes in. The thickness and the width and the shape is up to you. I wanted to get it like the typical candied yam picture that you like to see, which is like the circles that are about that thick. So once you cut the yams to your personal preference, we're gonna work on the yam sauce. Now, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this step itself took me like 3 tries. So that's why this video was not uploaded on time. But you're just gonna combine the butter, the sugar, and the cinnamon, the sugars and the cinnamon, all in one pot with the butter. And then you're gonna turn the heat on and begin to whisk until the sugar melts. I messed up by allowing it to boil for too long. Please do not do that. Just combine it until the butter melts and the sugar melts and it's like a smooth, almost like little caramel consistency. You just want to keep it on medium low and keep whisking. You do not want it to boil. If it boils, it's going to burn and harden once you pour it over the potatoes. So until the sugar melts with the butter like this, and it should coat the back of a spoon. So just taste it if it needs more cinnamon, more sugar, more vanilla. Also I meant to mention add in that vanilla in this step. But yes, whisk it and do not let it boil. Don't even let it simmer, girl, okay? Let it get nice and smooth like that. Coat the back of a spoon and remove it ASAP. Now, have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. Have some aluminum foil on deck. And last but not least is baking our candied yams. So we're gonna arrange our sweet potatoes as pretty as you want them in a baking dish. I'm using a 9x9 baking dish. You can use a larger one depending on how many sweet potatoes you have. We're just gonna arrange them, and then we're going to carefully pour over our candied yam glaze and give it a gentle toss. You really don't have to toss it because it's gonna maneuver around the potatoes in the oven. But yes, just cover it completely in a layer of the candied yam glaze. Cover it with foil and place it on the middle rack in your oven. And like I said, bake at 350 for about 15 minutes because the potatoes are already cooked. It might be longer depending on how thick you cut it, how long you cook the potatoes, but rule of thumb is about 15 to 20 minutes. What's that? And if you did it right, a fork should go all the way through the potato and it should look and taste like this. You can't taste it, unfortunately, but it was so good. It tastes just how my mama made it. It's not too cinnamony. It's not too sweet potato tasting. You know what I mean by that. It's soft. It's buttery. It's enough nutmeg in there. It don't taste like no super donut, if you know what I mean. And these will go perfect. Look, sweet potatoes, you can add marshmallows to these. You can do it however you want to. You can mash this. You can use it as a filling for a sweet potato pie. I love mine best served on a spoon with mac and cheese. If you guys want to see my stovetop method for candied yams, please let me know down below. I'll do that for my Christmas recipes, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I grew up on it, and if it ain't broke, do not fix it. Look at that yam glaze, y'all. Oh, it's so good. It even tastes good cold. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys soon on my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see me whip up next. Love you guys, and have a happy Thanksgiving.